Thank you so much for visiting us today on another edition of Lunch Out Loud Ottawa. We are here live in the Ottawa 67's office with Jeff Hunt. So thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
And my name is, once again, Nick Pichewski.
I'm Andrew Miller.
And, of course, Lunch Out Loud's the podcast where we talk about the people, places, events, and music that make Ottawa the incredible city it is.
Yes, sir.
So before we get to the interview, how about we check this out?
Was it the distance that killed us? The future made us scared. Was it the promise of something that we had never felt? Whatever it was, I'm trying not to care. The times they weren't right for us to be together. But now gets in the way of the real headed man. 'Cause I'm wondering, and I'm wondering if it was insecurity. And I'm wondering, if you were.
And so what you just heard there was Wondering from the Iconoclast band. So they'll be playing Blues Fest Monday, July the 8th at the River Stage. So we play all kinds of different types of music during here. So that's more of a harder type of music that we don't usually get on here, but still some great local bands there.
Yeah, I think what people should know too. Go back and listen to all of the episodes that we've done. If you go on the Spreaker website, you can simply click on every song that we've ever put on there. And I mean, all these groups are going to be at Blues Fest this year. So if you hear a name, you're going for another bigger band, and you want to somewhat check out some of the other bands, go back and look at some of our past episodes. You'll be able to listen to some of the other bands that you might be able to see. So it's a real easy way to get a quick clip of some of the groups. So
Great call. Great call.
I've been doing that all week, actually, listening back to some of them. So.
And Sunday, June the 8th, you'll be able to see them at an Acoustics for Cancer Awareness, so probably not as hard as we just heard. And that'll be at the Rainbow Bar. And then they'll play in Mavericks July 27th. So
Sweet.
Definitely catch them at Blues Fest. Great band. So, Jeff, just a couple questions, just like we like to do with all of our guests, is get to know them, get to know them a little more personally. So what to you makes Ottawa a great city? What keeps you here instead of going somewhere else, possibly?
I think Ottawa's the ideal balance of. It's got a lot of the features and options that a big city has, but yet it's a smaller community, and so it's like a big small town, and but yet it has lots of big city attractions like an NHL hockey team, an arena, and obviously. Soon to be, a world-class outdoor stadium and everything that will entail, and and I like it's a beautiful city. It's for me the ideal blend of big city meets smaller town, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, you're originally from East Coast, correct?
I'm from Newfoundland originally.
Oh.
So Newfoundland was a little bit too small town, a little bit, and that was great. I grew up there. I moved here when I was 19, so I wouldn't trade growing up in Newfoundland for anything. But with that said, I don't think I could live there today. I think I needed to broaden my horizons a little bit.
Great spot to visit here and there, but
yeah, it's great to go back, but Ottawa's my home now.
Absolutely. What are some restaurants or activities you like doing in the summer, winter that keep you entertained?
Well, I live in the market, so that might tell you a little bit about what I'm all about.
Restaurants are plenty.
Restaurants are plenty, and Ottawa's
plenty.
Ottawa's a very vibrant city. It gets a bad rap, as the city that never wakes up, or whatever a phrase you've heard. It's anything but. It's
simply not true.
I'd put the nightlife and entertainment and even just dining up with any city in North America for sure.
Absolutely.
What are some of your favorite restaurants that you hit up downtown?
Well, I live across the street from Social, and that group
go.
is 18 Social and Side Door, which that trio of restaurants I'm a big fan of. But again, there's so many great restaurants. Lux is a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Even Steak, the new
York
York Street Entertainment offering, and
they just relaunched that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and then I mean, there's Fat Tuesdays, which has actually not so well known for its food, but great barbecue there, and again, a great fun place on a Friday or Saturday night. And
great music there. You got Rick behind bar, who's always a pleasant chap to talk to.
Yeah, there's
dueling
great,
pianos.
Great atmosphere, the dueling piano. So, just no shortage of things to do in the market and in Ottawa. And we're hoping, not to shamelessly continue to plug Lansdowne, but that Lansdowne becomes a version of the market. And we could talk more about that later.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I think Ottawa is not yet aware of the fact that it's about to have a new city center.
Absolutely.
And that's exciting because no city ever complains it's got too many vibrant areas. And to have another major vibrant area, that would rival the market, I think, is exciting.
Yeah. Well, that's it, and we've talked about that on past shows now. That Westboro is pretty much it's well underway now, and I mean same with New Edinburgh, and I mean everything is growing up, and they really need to. Now we need to get right back to the city core and build that back up.
And we look forward to doing that as well. When you have guests in from out of town, where do you like to show them? Like maybe some other owners from the OHL,
well,
prospective people from CFL, like.
When I have guests, I think I'll speak mostly from a personal perspective because business guests, they don't, you don't tend to have the same interaction. It's more of a business type experience. But when I have friends, many of them either stay with me or stay down in the market area, and of course that ends up being a focal point of our outing. And naturally, there's the if we're talking winter or even summer, but the canal and Winterlude and all those types of things. And I'm a sports guy, so probably not too long into any visitor. They're either at Civic Center watching Civic 67s or out at Scotiabank. And so I'm a pretty simple guy. If I'm not out buzzing around the market, I'm at a sporting event.
Yeah. What about growing up? I mean, you currently own the 67s, and we're going into the new CFL team. Did you play a lot of sports growing up as well, or were you just passionate about sports, or
Yeah, no, I love sports, but primarily as a participant was hockey.
Yeah,
hockey was my main sport. Most people growing up in Newfoundland are of modest means, especially back when I grew up there.
Yeah,
Newfoundland's now officially a half province, so thank you very much. And Ontario's a have not. It seems like wherever I go, it reverses the fortunes. Yeah, but. And so hockey was definitely my winter sport, and people either played hockey or skied. That was your two options, and I grew up my entire life within 10 kilometers of a ski hill. Never skied. Again, you either played hockey or you skied. In the summer, I mostly took to golf, played a little bit of baseball, and I don't think. In the time I grew up in Newfoundland, there was a football field on the island. Now, there may be now. I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
But nobody played football. But the first thing I did when I moved to Ottawa in '84 was we bought season tickets for the Rough Riders. So
that grew your love for football.
Yeah. So I just absolutely had a blast at football games at Lansdowne. And so I didn't become a fan the traditional way. I didn't play the game, but I just became a fan as a fan.
Are you a fan of the NFL as well?
No, I never have been.
Really?
And it's not that I'm not a fan of the NFL. It's like, in other words, I don't have anything against the NFL. I'm not a fan. I'm not interested. I've always been, even in the CFL. When Ottawa's not in the league, I don't follow CFL.
Mm-hmm.
So you're creating this yourself. That's why you needed to own this team.
If I don't have some skin in the game, if there's no team playing in my community, I have no interest. And so, who would I pick to be an NFL fan? Green Bay or Dallas? I mean, what would I do? Throw a dart at the map?
That's it. Yeah,
I have no connection whatsoever.
Yeah.
CFL was the reason I became a fan is there was a team in my hometown, and when they left, I stopped following the CFL. When they came back, I started following them again.
When they left, you decided I'm bringing them back.
So yeah. In a roundabout way, that's how it happened. So
So at 34, you had a successful carpet cleaning business. When you started, did you ever think you're going to own a sports team? Was that always an end goal, or was it just hard work, determination, then go, you know what, I want to do something like this. This is a passion.
How did that come about from,
Well, when I first started my business, I started in '84 when I moved here. So
Okay.
I was 19 when I started. So I wouldn't say that I had any ambitions beyond staying alive another month in your own business. But as time went on and as we started to enjoy some success, I'd always thought, there was a point where I thought, this is just a means to an end. I'm going to build this business to give me the resources to buy a sports franchise, because that to me was the ultimate. I love business. I think I'm a born entrepreneur, and I love sports. So to combine those two loves is it doesn't get any better than that.
Then it's not so much work anymore, right?
Well, you know what? It's just as much work, but it's a different type of work, and it's more of a labor of love. And so when I had an opportunity to sell my business in 97, 98. I immediately started looking for a sports franchise to sink my teeth into, and first people I talked to were the owners of the Ottawa 67s. I had no intentions of buying the Ottawa 67s. I had no clue they'd even be for sale. I just wanted to pick their brain about, just generally owning a sports franchise and what
because you believed with your success that you had in your carpet business, you could bring that to wherever you worked.
Yeah,
and you're going to work as hard as possible to make that happen.
100%, and I fully expected that for me to indulge my sports ownership desire, I'd have to maybe leave Ottawa and go somewhere. I remember at one point somebody had told me the Worcester Ice Cats in Massachusetts were for sale. I thought, I'll go down and check that out. But anyway, thankfully things worked out for the best, because the 67s were indeed for sale, and allowed me to kind of explore my passion for sports and stay in my newly adopted hometown.
That's incredible. What have been, maybe, so we are not on this topic for too long, what were some of your greatest success and some of your greatest failures?
Well, the first year I had a Cinderella entrance into junior hockey. I bought the 67s in 98, the summer of 98, and that year we hosted and won the Memorial Cup at home.
Can't have anything.
Yeah, so I mean, there's people that have owned junior teams for 30 years that have never even been to the Memorial Cup, let alone won it in my first year. And obviously the credit goes to Brian Kilray and the team he had at that time. I remember, I think I bought the team June 1st, and early July, I bought a Hockey News one day, and it said Ottawa 67s will win Memorial Cup. They predicted it in July.
And there you go.
And I was like, oh my God, I knew I had a good team, but I didn't realize, the hockey world thought we were that good.
That's a good buy right there, yeah.
So that's a tough season to beat, again, in your first year, and we doubled the attendance that year and sold out the Memorial Cup. It was just a phenomenal year.
That's a great success right off the bat. That will keep you wanting to do better every single year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As far as it goes for owning a sports team, I think a lot of people might have the idea in their head, especially if they don't watch a lot of sports, they think, well, the owner just kind of sits back, collects his cash, and that's it. Obviously, there's a lot more involved. What are some of the tasks that you have to accomplish throughout a year or whatnot while owning this team?
Well, I'm very unique. For most pro sports owners, they do not take an active role. But I was an owner-operator, and that's very rare.
Okay.
Most people who own sports franchises have other major business interests that is what pays the bills, and usually what pays the bills even with the sports team. And the sports team is kind of like a hobby, or I always say that, some people buy yachts, some people buy sports teams. It's in the category of a toy.
Gotcha.
For a lot of billionaire types. That was not my reality. When I bought it, it had to be an active business, and I had to make a living, and I had to work it. So that made it unique, and I think that probably gave me an advantage, because you literally have the owner in the store type of reality, and I think that makes a difference.
I do, totally. With the players, with everyone, they try a little harder for, Robert Kraft, I guess, in New England. Great owners like that. People really gather together around that.
Well, I saw the players every day, and I didn't just show up on game days. I didn't jet in from some faraway place and show up, watch the game, and go home. This was all I did, I think it does affect the whole DNA of your organization, because, again, you're there every day, you care, so no doubt that was a big factor in the beginning, especially.
And so next year we're expecting a better year from the 67s, I hope.
I hope so too.
There we go.
You know,
we got good number 1 draft picks, so we're going to be all right.
Yeah, the year before last year, we made some moves to try and go for it, and we traded away some young players, and we brought in some older kids, and unfortunately, one of our big trades, the guy I think 3rd, 4th game in was out for the season. You know, a marquee player that we brought in. So last year we knew it was going to be a bit of a rebuilding year. We didn't realize how much of a rebuild. So, you know, some other things didn't quite go our way, and around November, I think Chris Byrne and I, you know, had to sit down and realize that this was not going to be our year, and we thought it was very important that we start to think about coming back. We knew we were 2 years at Scotiabank last year and this year, and thinking about coming back to the Civic Center in 2014. We wanted to have a strong team. When you're launching 2 expansion teams, you have to realistically believe you're not going to be championship teams in either, you know, in our case, soccer or football. We thought if we at least had a great hockey team, or you know, it would be one of our 3 sports franchises would be hopefully achieving well by then. So next year it'll still be a very exciting year. We'll have a very young team. Young teams are very exciting to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you're going to have times in the season where you're going to have 2 or 3 game losing streaks, and we're not going to panic. And we're going to have times in the season maybe we'll get a 2 or 3 game winning streak, and we're not going to get carried away either, and all of a sudden think we have a Memorial Cup contending team. So I think it'll be fun to see some tremendous rookies, and just to see us develop next year and really get to hit our stride coming back to the Civic Center in 2014.
I love it. So we're just going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to one more song from Iconoclast.
Hide the Knives.
Hide the Knives, and be right back.
All your crimes, all your lies, they're waiting on me. I can't believe you're still here, so innocent me. Drop the games, dry your eyes. I tried so hard with all my might, 'cause there's no end, no end in sight. We had to hide all the knives. I can't tell you what's the problem. I can't tell you what's the truth. All I know is something's different.
All right, so once again, that was Hide the Knives, and we're back with Mr. Jeff Hunt from the Ottawa 67s, Ottawa football team, and the Ottawa soccer team, and so much more. So how did the construction of the Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group essentially come about?
Well, I'll try and make a very long story as short as possible. One of my partners, John Ruddy, was invited by the then owner of the Toronto Argonauts, Howard Sokolowski, to kind of get together for lunch in Toronto and just talk about bringing CFL football back to Ottawa. And, you know, to be honest with you, I was like, wow, this is probably the last thing I want to be thinking about or looking at. Not too many business people that have gotten involved with football in Ottawa have come out the other end looking, smelling like roses, you know. So in any event, John was a friend, and I said, okay, I'll go down and hear them out. And what the perspective they had was that really Lansdowne needed to be fixed before football could succeed in Ottawa. Lansdowne was at the core of most of the major problems with...
and exactly, when you get that question a lot, what failed, why did the CFL keep failing? You keep coming back with, there was a bunch of things, but main things were Lansdowne.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny how people think sports businesses are somehow different than any other retail business. But if you had if you were going to have a bar or restaurant or a retail store of some type, and the actual store itself was run down and dilapidated, and the washrooms were inadequate, and you know, the whole infrastructure was literally crumbling, and your business didn't succeed inside that environment, nobody would wonder, you know, what happened. It would, but with sports, they somehow think that the sports teams operate in some different world, that people either like football or they don't like football, which is not true. And so I would say if football failed, if there's 10 reasons why, 6 of them have to do with the facility and the fan experience, especially now that Ottawa's grown up as a big league town, and we have expectations like what you would experience at Scotiabank. And then you go to Lansdowne and you sit on bench seating, and the washrooms are 1950s, and the concessions are woefully inadequate, and you got to line up for a half an hour to get a cold hot dog or a warm beer, and the sound system is terrible, and there's no video board, and there's
You're not proud of it.
The whole experience is terrible. The fact that they actually managed to get 22,000 fans right even to the bitter end, I think is a testament to the hardiness, to the resolve of Ottawa football fans who would tolerate a horrible experience. And of course, add to that the team on the field. I mean, I moved in '84. I never saw a winning team yet.
Yeah.
So imagine any team that loses for 20 years in a row doesn't make the playoffs.
I'm a fan of one of them.
Who's that?
Maple Leafs.
Oh, the Leafs. Well, they're in a world of their own. They are an exception.
And you still owe me money for that too.
Yeah, it's
So
I give you tickets, Jessica.
So you think about every obstacle that you could have for CFL football in Ottawa, they had it.
Yeah.
And yet people still came out. So
yeah, that's true.
We came away with a fix Lansdowne, and you'll give CFL football a chance to be not just survive but be successful, and that's really how it all came to be.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Yeah.
And then, so you came up with the Lansdowne project, which includes 2 world-class condos, an incredible new facelift to the CFL stadium, and a bunch of shops and stores. So if you can tell more about how that came about, I don't know, some of the successes of that and what we can look forward to in that way.
Well, we wanted to make Lansdowne not just the stadium itself. You want that to be a world-class facility, and when people go to a game, they have an experience again, similar to what you would experience at Scotiabank. But to make Lansdowne a destination, not just a place you get in your car, you drive to, you go to a sporting event, you get in your car and drive home. That it's a place that's a destination 7 days a week, and people, around sporting events in particular, can come 2-3 hours before a game,
exactly. Go
to dinner, shop, see it, experience the park, everything that would be at Lansdowne, and then go to a sporting event or a concert, and then afterwards, we're going to have 7-8 restaurant bars. You can go have a drink after the game, and again, it's a place to be. Imagine if not to make too grandiose a comparison, but imagine if you had a pro sports arena in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I experienced that in Nashville on the weekend.
Absolutely. Lots of cities have that, actually.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're a Leafs fan. I mean,
let's not say that too loud.
No, but the ACC is right in the heart of everything. It's an outing to go to a game. It's not the game itself. It's
the experience.
It's the centerpiece, but it's the before, it's the after, it's the whole experience.
Well, I know Canada thrives quite well. They have in the Canada Centrum there's tons of businesses that thrive just because the arena's out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be the same thing.
Absolutely.
Once it moves to Lansdowne.
So Lansdowne is going to be a destination, not just a place you go and experience an event and go home. It's a place you're going to want to take guests from out of town. It'll be a year-round destination.
You'll have the ice skating on in the facade area. You're going to have the farmers market in the summer. There's going to be people around there all the time, and that's essentially what you talk about: is building the brand, building the experience, and that's why in this city we're obsessed with naming a team. I know this has been debated, and you've been asked the question probably 45 times a day, if not 60. About the name of the team, but you keep coming down to, people are not going to be going to the stadium because of the name of the team. They're going to be coming because, the team's going to be successful. You're running it. I know it's going to be. But it's going to be the experience the whole round, and people are going to be talking about it, and they're not going to remember the team name. 2 years down the road, they're going to love the team name. You know that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean the team name. I never expected it would have the energy and the life of its own that it evolved to. I guess for 5 years you have an expansion team, and really the only thing fans could talk about is the name.
Yeah.
And it gets a disproportional amount of interest, and which is great. On one hand, it's great that the tremendous fan input that we've gotten, is very encouraging. But we've got a kind of a convergence of challenges. I mean, for starters, we're not dealing with a green field here. You're dealing with a community that had a 100-year history of a team called the Rough Riders.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
So right off the bat, any name that you put out there is going to be foreign when you compare to that.
Yeah.
The other thing is we had 5 years of people having nothing other than the name to talk about.
Yeah.
And what I was just talking to somebody this morning with this. If I had thought of a name 3 years ago, 4 years ago, the Black Riders, the Red Rivermen. I mean, pick a name. Mm-hmm. Now I've become like that's my name. That's the name I've chosen. That's the name I think is the best candidate. Well, now when we put another name out there, not only are you comparing that to Rough Riders, you're comparing that to the name you've thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think this is our reality. When we do come out with a name and the brand, we're going to have people who love it, and we're going to have people who will hate it, and there'll be people in between. But it's just a name, and
Well, I hope it's better than the Tomahawk name in the basketball. I hope the whole situation goes a little better than that.
Well, I hope it does too. But I think that there's so much more that goes into a sports brand than just a name. And you think of some of the great sports brands today, like the Expos, the Blue Jays, the Pittsburgh Penguins. They had very humble, if not hostile, beginnings. When those names came out, they were not well received by the community. And this was compared to nothing. There was no previous Major League Baseball team in Toronto to compare a name to. People hated the Blue Jays. People hated the Expos. People hated the Penguins. What evolved is, when you think of the Blue Jays, you don't think of a name, the Blue Jays. You think of everything they were, and Joe Carter, and World Series wins, and Sky Dome, and everything that they've put into that brand since they launched the Blue Jays.
And that's why I say the 2 years down the road, we won't be talking about
Well, there's the name, and then there's the mascots. I mean, you look at the Expos, and they had, what was it, Opie? Was that his name, their mascot?
That sounds familiar.
The orange character there. And I mean, what he has to do with the name Expos, again. So, I mean, if, per se, they were the Red Blacks, I mean, the mascot's a totally separate thing, right? I mean, you don't have to have a beastly name, I think, and have a mascot to support the name. I mean,
No,
they are
100%.
two separate things.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
One question a lot of people have is about traffic going to and from, because it's not a major arterial road. But and then Mayor Jim Watson said that he's going to be opening up the Parkway a lot more for buses, public transportation. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a good thing. But it's also what you talked about earlier was that people will have the experience, so they'll be able to stay 3 hours before the game, 4 hours before the game, have an experience where they're not thinking about the time, they're thinking about, this is fun, this is good, this is what we're doing. So you'll have a lot more staggered entrance, or people coming into these events, because of course there's going to be a lot of underground parking, but you also
That was
have
going to be my
more-
question, parking.
It's
I know
gonna be
that's
a lot
kind
of
of always been
underground.
an issue,
Yep.
but...
And there's going to be a lot of, and the two condos, so you're going to have a lot of problems. Well, not a lot of problems, but there's going to be a lot more added traffic that way. Anything else you can alleviate and talk about, and how to get people's mind that go, it's going down Bank Street on a Friday night to go see, like, maybe the 67s and the new Ottawa football team are playing at the same time, just to dispel any...
Well, first of all, I can tell you we'll never have the teams playing at the same time.
Okay, good.
So cross that off your list of worries.
Great.
But what you hit on is going to be one of our biggest challenges, if not our biggest challenge. It's going to be coming and going to the games, parking, and everything to do with just traffic and what have you. And there's no one solution that's a fix-all. But you just hit on something. I think that because it's so much more of a destination, instead of coming 20 minutes, 15 minutes, a half hour before the game and leaving immediately thereafter, where that traffic is all confined to a 20-minute period coming and going, I think it's going to be spread out over a much greater period of time. People are going to come earlier, people are going to stay later, and so the flow of traffic coming and going will be spread over maybe hours coming and going. And I think we've got to be creative. I mean, everything from water taxis to satellite parking options. Like, for example, we may have a satellite parking at Carleton University with buses that transit people over and what have you. I mean, parking has always been a challenge at Lansdowne. So this is not like we're trying to peer into.
There's not many cities that I've been to in the world that can pull something off like this. So
yeah. And I mean, just think about when people find a way. If it's an event you want to get to, there was 28,000 people to every FIFA game when they had it, and there was no parking on site. Even back in the day, there was 33,000 seats at Lansdowne. There was 2,100 parking spots.
Yeah.
We're going to have about maybe 1,600 parking spots for 24,000 seats. So the ratios are pretty similar to what they've always been.
Carpool people.
I know personally, I never once drove my car to Lansdowne to watch a football game. Yeah. I never had a parking spot. I always found a way. I parked at a friend's or take a bus or meet at a pub, and there was people, especially too with football being, a game every 2 weeks, primarily in the summer when the weather's nice. People don't mind.
Couple beers go down. And
Yeah. People don't mind a little bit.
I like the experience of a water taxi. I think that would be an excellent one. If you do like something bigger that you park on, maybe the east side of the canal somewhere and create some kind of parkade.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know.
That'd be fun. I think people would enjoy
I think that'd
too.
be fun and adds to experience. And that's what it is. And, people would see this across the country and they'd see that water taxi coming in on TSN or something. They'd be like, holy, that's a nice experience. That'll have them talk, and I think that's an excellent idea. So, some great stuff going on there. Winter season tickets packages coming out. It's coming out soon, possibly.
Yeah, we're having a launch event to launch our new football brand in early June, and then we are actually taking deposits now for season tickets. People can go on auto67s.com. And put their $25 deposit down. It goes against the cost of your ticket, so
not too bad.
And it holds your position in the priority line. And I think football is going to come back with great success, and I think people are going to want to be a part of it. Again, it's not just going to be wanting to come and see a CFL football game again for the first time in years, but to be a part of the whole Lansdowne experience.
Yeah.
And whether it's soccer or football. Or
when's the soccer supposed to take off then?
The same
time.
2014, yeah.
Yeah, moving quickly to soccer. Possibility of hosting some men's friendlies in the future?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I want. Team Canada men's versus the Netherlands. Can we make this happen?
That specific one?
I'm saying Tulip Festival 2017 during the 150th anniversary. We bring the Netherlands to play Canada. We try to make that happen.
That's a beautiful idea. I like it.
I will lobby it. I'm getting my Netherlands passport and nationality on June 7th. That's the first thing I'm going to tell them at the...
But you go. I tell you what, if you convince them to come, I'll convince them they'll have an opponent. They'll have I don't know if it's Team Canada or our team, but
our team versus the Netherlands. I don't know. I might take the Netherlands in a bet there. And of course, you have the Women's World Cup, and you're gonna. I know you're gonna make a bid for the Memorial Cup, the first chance you get.
Absolutely.
And
Grey Cup.
Grey Cup
Again, 2017. You mentioned the 150th anniversary celebration year of.
What better place than Ottawa?
So that's something we're very much. It's very much in our sights as well.
And we just released the logo today for Canada 2017.
Oh, did you?
For Ottawa.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, very nice logo. So that was good. Anyways, thank you so much, Jeff. That was a pleasure. We got so much information out there. I know the listeners are going to love this one. Thank you so much for having us. Do you want to stick around for just a couple minutes while we go through some of the events that are going on this week?
Sure.
All right. You want to talk about the first one?
Well, the first one we got, for anybody that likes drum and bass or heavy bass music for that matter, Andy C. is a legend. He's going to be at Ritual on Friday night.
From England.
Yeah,
He's one of the best in the world.
Yeah, all right. Been watching him for
10 years.
A good decade.
They've been trying to get him. Yeah, they've been trying to get him for 10 years. You got the Great Glee Garage Sale on Saturday. It's one of the best times.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to that?
You know what? I'm embarrassed to say I've not been, maybe I'll go this
year. It's a fun time. Everybody in the community, and there's going to be a lot more food trucks. A lot of the food trucks that are coming out. A lot of them are going to be down there this weekend. There's going to be a lot more bands playing at different sites. It's going to be a great experience. You got the Gloucester Fair going on. Of course, it's Ottawa Race Weekend, which is another incredible weekend for around the city. I love watching the marathon, the half marathon every year.
I watch it out my front window. The only problem is it makes coming and going out of the market
That's true.
a little bit of a challenge.
That's a day. That's a day you walk.
Oh, that's it.
That's a walking day, or run with them. You got Game 5 Friday night. Sens, come on. We
Don't
gotta
pull
win
this one out. They're going to win this one.
I think so. That was a crappy game last night. I don't know what else.
Not much else you can say.
Not much else you can say. We got Raven Swing Arts and Music Fair. That's at Minto Park. That's another great one. There's 80 local artists with a bunch more bands that are going to be playing there, or local artisans selling items $20 or less. So that's a packed day during the race weekend. Love
That's
that
really
one.
cool.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also in Hindenburg, they also have another arts park. So lots of things going on in this city this weekend. It's going to be an awesome
It's going to be a
time.
nice one, too. Weather's supposed to be good.
Weather's supposed to be, it's a little chillier, but whatever.
Wow.
It's going to be good.
Come on.
It's gonna be
sunny. That's all you need.
Anyways, next week we have Andrew King on the show, so that's going to be a very interesting show. He's one of the best artists in the city. I love his stuff, so that's going to be interesting. So I guess one more song.
Yep. Let's hear one more song. What was it? Are We Dying?
Are we dying? I hope not, but
From Iconoclast.
there we go. Iconoclast, so catch them.
All right.
Have a great week, everyone.
See you next week.
Bye.